So Nick Wright decides to step to the lectern and throw out this ingenious idea where Nick goes, you know what, guys, Wiles, Brew, I think LeBron James should go back to Cleveland. But that ain't even the best part. Wait till you hear the narratives that Nick Wright attached to this suggestion of why LeBron James should consider going to Cleveland. So what we want to do now is want to play exactly what Nick Wright had to say about LeBron potentially going to Cleveland, and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to Nick right here.
I want to talk about Cleveland for a second. Because you can't run it back. You can't expect, it to be different. You do, and you do have right now a massive opening in the Eastern Conference because Giannis might be on the move, and Tatum, sadly, we now know what we feared yesterday, which is torn Achilles, which means probably means next year's gone. And
even if New York were even to win the championship, nobody's looking at them like, well, we can't beat them.
Right, and I give New York a ton of credit, but it's still, one team you're talking about in the East as opposed to 10 in the West.
Absolutely.
And their starting small forward, much like their previous starting small forward when they were down 3-1, sent a group text along the lines of, if you don't think we can do it, don't get on the plane. Now, the previous small forward responded to that by himself having the greatest three-game stretch in the history of the league. This small forward responded to it by going 0 for 9 and scoring 0 points. Sorry, Max Strus. It is what it is.
The thought was in the right. Your heart was in the right.
Right. So which I say this. Just go home, Bron.
I mean, it's interesting.
It's from the area. It's year 23. No one can say he's front running. They haven't, in the entirety that the Cavs have existed, they've never been past round 2. Except for when he's been there and they've lived in the finals. There was a lot of, chatter this year. Is this the best Cavs team ever? Is this the most fun Cavs season ever? How fun is it now? How fun was, and by the way, it happened like this. They won their first round series by more points than any team in the history of the league.
They looked like they were going to win the East.
And Donovan, who made, there you go, who made, I think, even in defeat, a compelling club superstar case, is now on this very weird streak of every year he's been in the league, he's been in the playoffs, and every year it's ended before the conference finals. It can only happen if Bron is willing to play for close to nothing. But man,
Cleveland can't even trade.
No,
they can't aggregate.
No, so it would really just have to be him being like, you know what? I did my job in LA. I brought them a championship and helped them get the player that they then used to get the next, the next iteration of Laker basketball. No one can say I gave them 7 years, more than I think anyone realistically expected. And I think as great as Luka is, I think Bron has a better chance of winning a championship playing with the Cavs. Not because the Cavs would necessarily be better, but because they would have to win 2 tough rounds in the playoffs, the conference finals and the NBA finals. And the Lakers, the West is just so deep and so hard.
Look, if LeBron went back there, I don't see this happening. I don't see LeBron going for the minimum. I don't see him leaving the Lakers. But if it did, and they didn't have to lose Mobley, if the Cavs could aggregate players and trade, say, Garland and Mobley for LeBron, I wouldn't do that.
No,
I would not do that.
No, because he's
the
41.
Lakers, I would do that.
Of course.
That'd be great.
No, but he's 40. I'm talking about LeBron opting out and signing there.
They would be easily, to me, the favorite in the East.
Yeah.
Easily.
So you heard what Nick Wright had to say. Nick Wright is saying that given that the fact that the Cleveland Cavaliers didn't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or the NBA Finals, LeBron should essentially go to Cleveland to save them and take them back to where they used to be when he was there. Now, a quick aside. Nick, LeBron James has been in LA for 8 good years. If LeBron is as good as you say he is, why is it that only in those 8 years he was only able to go to the finals 1 time? But in the Eastern Conference, he was able to go pretty much every single year. Why do you think that is? Why do you think that is? Let me explain it to you. The West is harder. Just say you want LeBron to run back to the janky East and go try to find a way to get past one of those teams. That's why. If LeBron stays in the West, he's never going to the finals. It's never, ever, 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 ever going to happen. He's not getting past OKC. He's not getting past Denver. He's not getting past Minnesota and whoever else. He ain't getting past those teams. So Nick is like, just tuck your tail between your legs, go to the East. So essentially what Nick is saying is, imagine if LeBron goes to Cleveland. Cleveland somehow manages to break through. And let's just say they just get to the finals, but they don't win it. Nick Wright can then stand up and say, you see, LeBron James does something that Michael Jordan simply could not do, which is lead a team, because that's what he's going to say, lead a team to the finals. Then all of a sudden the narrative is going to be what LeBron can teach Donovan Mitchell, how he can lead them. And then before you know it, the franchise is going to go right back into the toilet.